everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. Today's topic, is it time to go for David De Gea? Is it time to move on to a more modern goalkeeper that suits the style of play Erik ten Hag wants to play? And is it time to say goodbye to a keeper who's had over 400 appearances for Manchester United? We're going to break it all down for you today. Make sure you stay tuned. It's a very, very interesting video coming your way. A lot of different opinions on this one. I'm in the camp that I think we could definitely have an improvement on De Gea. You might be otherwise. Get in the comments down below what you think. But I'm going to start with what I really like about David De Gea. And what I really like about David De Gea is he's the only player in our team to win a Premier League trophy, along with Phil Jones. But come on now, Phil Jones doesn't really count. I don't even think he's in the squad anymore. So he's the only player to win a Premier League trophy, as you can see there. Sir Alex brought him in. And Sir Alex did a brilliant thing by bringing David De Gea in. I am one of them people. I have no problem in saying David De Gea has been one of the best goalkeepers in Europe for a long time now. I don't think he is anymore, but he definitely was at the peak of his powers when he was, for me personally, one of the best goalkeeper in the league at times and definitely one of the best in Europe. But play does adapt, play changes and play styles changes, and for me David De Gea hasn't adapted enough to keep up with the modern style of play, especially that elite teams play and what Erik ten Hag does want to play in the future and now with Manchester United as well. He's also a leader of our team. The way he speaks in interviews I absolutely love, and I've said this so many times, with David De Gea, I would love nothing more for him overnight to suddenly be able to collect crosses, pass the ball out brilliantly, come off his line, be a sweeper keeper and be dominant in the box. I'd love that. I appreciate everything he's done for Manchester United over the time he's been here. He's been a long servant at the club, over 400 appearances for us, and he's won Player of the Year numerous occasions. He has been an excellent player for Manchester United, and I do believe that. But I also think sometimes you can get stuck in the past, and sometimes when things change you have to move on and you have to find the best person to fit that position now and for the future. And for me personally, that isn't David De Gea, and I'm going to explain why I don't think that is David De Gea. So we do have some stats to get into. I put a few stats up on Twitter actually just before I did this video, and people were very kind of extreme in saying stats don't prove everything, stats, it's all about the eye test. Well, I can tell you, I watch Brentford every single week unless they're on at the same time as Manchester United, and then I watch the highlights. And I watch Manchester United every single week, and I can tell you the eye test does not lie either. Certain keepers are more adapted to the modern game than David De Gea is, and the stats say it themselves. And goalkeeping stats are usually very, very, very accurate. When you look at player stats, there's a lot of things that could be taken into accountability: sideways passing, the opposition that they're playing, how many minutes they've played, the type of game that they're playing in, who they're playing with and around them. And ultimately, you can stat pad as a player. Like, your pass percentage, if you just keep passing it sideways, sideways, sideways the whole game, is going to be extremely high. Players, it's a very, very different circumstance, which is where the eye test comes into play a lot. With goalkeepers, they are usually playing every single game of the whole season, and you do kind of get a grasp on what their strengths and weaknesses are, and you can see it with the eye test as well. If you watch Brentford and you watch Costa, you'll understand what I'm talking about. As you can see from the stats here, goals against per 90, David De Gea 1.29, Raya 1.29, Costa 0.58. You do have to bear in mind that Costa is playing in the Portuguese league. Also, if you don't know, I'm assuming you do know, Costa has a €75 million release clause from Porto, and David Raya is got 1 year left on his contract, and it's kind of rumoured that Brentford will let him go for 15 million in the summer because he's refusing to sign a new contract. A Premier League proven goalkeeper for 15 to 20 million of his standard would be an absurd deal not to do. He is excellent, and I'm going to get into the stats a little bit more, but to get him for 15 million would be incredible. He plays amazingly in that Brentford team, and he has all the attributes that a modern keeper needs. Also, not that I kind of want to make it like pitting against each other, which we kind of are doing, he is in the Spanish national team, and David De Gea isn't in there anymore. It might change now Enrique's left, but David Raya was preferred to David De Gea as well. So anyway, we've got the stats there. So goals against per 90, David De Gea 1.29, Raya 1.29, Costa 0.58. Save percentage, which I find very interesting. David De Gea 68.2%, David Raya 78.1%, and Costa 73.5%. So as you can see there, as you can see by the percentile that the goalkeeper's in, that we've included for you there as well, David Raya wins that, and this is interesting to me because a lot of people say, Beth, the main thing you need from a goalkeeper is for them to save shots and make sure the ball doesn't go in the back of the net. And I am 100% with you on that one. The main thing a goalkeeper's job is to stop goals going in the back of the net, 100%. But people would tell me David De Gea is the best shot stopper in the league. David De Gea is the best shot stopper in Europe. And I have to agree, his shot stopping is outstanding and it's his main strength. It is his bread and butter. He's amazing at shot stopping. But David Raya actually has got a better save percentage than David De Gea, and they've got the same goals against them per 90. Then people say, well, his save percentage is better because Brentford have more chances put against them. They have more shots against them, so he's going to be able to save more goals. Well, yeah, but also it gives the teams a lot more opportunity to score. So for me personally, that doesn't come into the debate. For me, what you see is what you get. And David Raya is a brilliant shot stopper, as well as David De Gea and as well as Costa as well. Costa's up there, 73.5%. So you can see kind of shot stopping wise, if we did bring in a Raya or a Costa, you're not going to lose the shot stopping that David De Gea has because they are also absolutely brilliant at it as well. And we move on to the next lot of stats here for us, and they are crosses stopped per 90 and also defensive actions outside the area per 90. So basically crosses and also coming off your line and getting out of the box and kind of acting as that last man, in the last line of defence. As you can see here, this is where the stats start to drop off for David De Gea, and we're talking about the modern game here. The modern keeper in a team that's going to play a high line and play out from the back needs to be able to come off his line. Also, in the modern game, the amount of goal opportunities that come from crosses into the box, you need a keeper that's going to be dominant in the air to collect them. We've seen a few times this season David De Gea look shaky in that area, and you can see from his stats that is the case. David De Gea 0.27, David Raya 1.43 and Costa 0.87. Again, Raya in the Premier League is running away with it. 98th percentile, which is just crazy because the percentile, by the way, is for the crosses on this one. 98th percentile is elite. He's elite at these crosses into the box. He's not even the tallest keeper either, but he's extremely dominant. And in a team in the Premier League, that is hard to do. So credit where credit's due for David Raya on that. David Gea is right at the bottom at 0.27. We know it's not his strength, and it does cost us in a lot of chances that we concede against us is because David De Gea can't get his hands on a cross. Costa 0.87, it's very, very reasonable. It's not as good as Raya, but it's a lot better than De Gea. And as you can see, defensive actions outside the penalty area. Again, David De Gea last out of the group, 0.84. David Raya 1.26 and Costa 1.32. So again, Costa actually wins this one over Raya, but Raya is off his line a lot. There's not much in it, but that's a main strength that you're going to get from Costa. And I know a lot of you have watched him in European football playing for Porto, and he's excellent at coming off his line. Excellent. And he's an up-and-coming keeper that is going to be brilliant. I'm sure a big team's going to snap him up soon and he's going to go on to have a brilliant career. But for me, David Raya is kind of winning that race because I've seen him play in the Premier League as well. And sometimes you get keepers that are at the elite level, they come to the Premier League and it's a different kettle of fish. David Raya's found his feet in the Premier League and he's doing excellently. So for me, as well for the money, I mean, you look at 75 million compared to 15 million. We've got other positions in the team we need to improve. I take that on board 100%. It's a no-brainer for me when it comes to Raya. But lastly, I want to talk passes as well. So we've got, for the passes attempted per 90, you can see them ahead of us. All kind of attempting quite a lot of passes. Costa is doing a little bit more over in the Portuguese league. Passes completed per 90, though, is what we really want to look at, because how many passes are actually being completed, and that means how many passes are going to be successful. And again, David Raya runs away with it. David De Gea is on 2.73, Raya 9.43 and Costa 5.26. So as you can see, David De Gea is at the bottom again. Costa 5.26 and Raya right up there with 9.43 per 90. And can I just say that is absolutely excellent when you're looking at a goalkeeper and passing out from the back, and the way that Erik ten Hag wants to play in the modern game, it is 100% needed. 97th percentile, I can't say much more. When you're looking at the modern all-round game, David Raya is the goalkeeper that you want to get. I mean, David Raya is absolutely unbelievable, and I think if people watch Brentford closely every single week, you will see how good this player is. And for me personally, he's at the elite level. But talking about Erik ten Hag's football and the football that Erik ten Hag wants to play. Erik ten Hag at Ajax, we've seen it, he wants his keeper to basically be the third centre-back that's going to be playing passes out from the back. He also wants his keeper to be off his line and basically be the last man of the defence. He wants to play the modern game. You see how Ederson is at Manchester City, you see how Alisson is at Liverpool. That's the kind of keeper that suits the modern game. And as you can see by the stats I just put up there, that isn't David De Gea. 100% he's improved this season, but there's just keepers that are much better at him in an all-round game, and you just can't hide what you see, is what I'm trying to say. And Erik ten Hag does massively need that in a keeper. I'll be interested to see what decision Erik ten Hag does make, because David De Gea is rumoured to be getting a new contract at the end of the summer. Does that mean that it stops a new keeper coming in, or does that mean you're going to bring a new keeper in for competition? I'm unsure. But when you look at David De Gea, he's not improving enough to keep up with the modern game for me, and it really is costing us. People say his shot stopping is up there. It really, really is. But you don't understand how many chances you concede to force the keeper and the defence to be under pressure by not being able to collect crosses, not being able to clear balls from your line, and not being able to pass out from the back in an effective way. Misplaced passes, pressure comes straight onto you. Not collecting crosses, there's a high likability, somehow the ball's going to go in the back of the net. All it takes is a 50-50 duel not to be won. It needs to be done in the modern game, and I think people need to look at more things than just shot stopping right now. We have moved past that in football, and I think David Raya he just shows what a modern keeper should be, in my opinion. But get in the comments down below what you think and what you think about David De Gea. Is he the player that is going to be able to take this Manchester United team forward, or is it time to move on and recruit someone who is strong in all aspects, in all aspects of goalkeeping, and doesn't really have a weakness? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure you hit a like on this video. I'm not sure many people are going to, but make sure you hit a like on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and get in the comments other videos you want to see from us. We'll see you on the next one.